Hi, this is me, and I'm a new Genshin Impact player who's a little over 100 hours into this game. Now, although I still have ways to go and adventures to take on, I will give you my initial thoughts about this game and a list of things that I love and hate about this game and everything in between. And at the end, I will give you my final thoughts and initial impressions of Genshin Impact. But before that, let's set a scene first. The first time I played this game, I thought it was good and cool, but not necessarily for me. A little about a year later, I was talking with my sister. She mentioned that she plays the only game, and that game is Genshin. Sure enough, that sparked my curiosity. Surely there has to be something to do with this game. There has to be something good in it for my sister to enjoy this game so much, right? And so I decided to download this game once more and set off onto the adventure. At the time, I didn't know it yet, but I was embarking on a journey that will take me on the grand adventure across the world of Genshin, the stories, the characters, the people I'm going to meet in there, and little over 100 hours of my time. I faced many bosses, many enemies, many challenges along the way, explored vast amounts of continents, and so many of my videos later we arrive at this point at which I will share things that I love about this game and little things here and there that I don't love it so much. Keep in mind, all of that is nothing but my opinion, and if you don't like it, you can always type a comment, leave a dislike, and boost my algorithm. Cool, now that we got that out of the way, when people ask me good or bad news first, I always tell them bad news first, because I like to leave things on a positive note, and this video will be no different. And the first thing would be, can we please get 100 plus FPS? Like, pretty please? Is it really that big of a deal to have it? And I know what you're gonna say to me, ooh boohoo, smallest violin in the world. Fair enough, but hey, to me 120 FPS is such a nicer, smoother and richer experience. To me, that would improve the game a lot. And there's literally nothing that they need to do for it. Just add the option for it. Surely in 2024 we can have it. I don't think that's that big of a deal, right? Games 10 years ago had these kinds of options. I don't think that's a problem, let's be honest. And I know this game is on mobile and blah blah blah. Sure, I know, whatever, I don't care. I just want 100 plus FPS. Thank you Genshin, thank you, and let's move to the next one. Warning, warning, stop. Before you start typing in the comments how this should not be the case, just hear me out, okay? All I'm saying, just hear me out. A skip button. But just give me a second, okay? When I say a skip button, I don't mean for all of the quest. I don't mean for the main story. I mean for a stupid and silly side quest. To be fair, there's quite a few of those in the main line. I can live with the main story not being skippable. I'm for it. I don't want the main storyline to be skipped. But however, I did so many quests that are just downright disgustingly bad.
Now use your strong hand to stir it with a persistent rhythm. Keep going until the juices start to come out.
They had dialogues I could care less about. Not that I could care less about, I even hated listening to them. They were just so cringy, bad, annoying, just complete air rape. You stand and listen for like 5 minutes to guy talking, which is a complete side quest. Then for him to just tell, find me my long lost legendary potato, and then you just give it to him, and that's it, and it's done. Recently I tried Tower of Fantasy, a game that does have a skip button, and only then I realized that the amount of hours I spend in this game listening to quests that are just disgustingly bad is absolutely ridiculous. I lost so many hours of my life. I don't even mean like minutes or like a couple hours. I mean hours upon hours of my life to quests that made my ears vomit.
Could I touch them just once more though? No oil or anything this time. I've just always wondered what Miss Ganyu's horns feel like.
And not only that, some of these quests were so bad. For the first time in my life, while playing a game, I actually had anxiety before starting the game. One of these days, I wanted to play a game and make a new video. And at the end, I decided not to do it because I knew that I would have to sit, wait, and listen for potentially hours of dialogue that will make me just not want to play this game at all, and it just gave me such an anxiety of not being able to skip it that I completely lost anyone to play that game that day. Which brings me to the next thing I hate about this game. There are so many good quests, but for every 10 or so quests you will receive a few so bad ones that it's going to be absolutely disgusting. Just some of these quests, honest to God, I don't know why they even introduced them, some of these quests. Having anxiety to start a game because you know you're gonna need to listen through quests which you cannot skip, that's not a good thing. That diminishes your gaming experience a lot. Right.
Jimmy, why don't we cool down, huh?
All right.
We'll take a swim. You want to take a swim?
I want to take okay.
We're just discussing things that could be improved. I know you're probably already quite mad.
I'm not mad.
From my comments, but hey, calm down. We still have more things to dislike in this game. That being said though, while we're still on the subject of questing, can we add keybinds please? When I say keybinds, I mean, can we add like a 1 here and a 2 if there was another option? Because at some point I started to watch these cutscenes almost like a little series, right? And it would be so nice if I could just press like 1 instead of actually having to reach out to the mouse every time. And I know it seems like a no big deal, but believe me, I played games where you have that option and it makes for such a smoother experience.
It's pretty smooth, huh?
And you cannot skip quests in this game, so anything that you can make smoother should be there. Small thing, sure, but I would appreciate that a lot. Oh, and by the way, this quest, it doesn't even have a voiceover, yet I still cannot skip it. I guess it made my point. Right, now let's move to the next thing. And that would be the wishing system, and oh boy, there is so many things we can discuss in here, and you probably think that I'm just gonna crap all over the place right now, but I am actually not. The only thing that I dislike about a wishing system is that it takes 90 wishes to get to a 5-star, and in my opinion that is way too much. Way too much. I think it should be like 50 or so. 50 sounds good. 50 for a 5-star, that sounds very nice. Maybe 60 at most, but honestly 50 sounds like a good number. And another thing, I believe if you just starting this game, I think there should be at least one opportunity for you to get a 5-star, let's say like 30 or so wishes in, right? Like a guarantee. Because when you start this game, for a longest of time, unless you get lucky of course, it's gonna feel like 5 stars are even impossible to get. And if you could at least get one, that would be such a boost to morale to play this game and continue playing it. I think that would be great. Do you think that would be a good idea? Let me know in the comments. Right, now let's move to the next thing. Can we make these domains like available, I don't know, like all the time? I mean, it would be such a shame if I had time on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, but the domain is only available on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Would be such a shame, right? Just saying. Right, now let's move to the next thing. I promise you we're almost there. There is one thing that I truly despise in this game, and that is this thing right here, the Constellation System. This is garbage. Garbage that should not exist. Garbage that is completely designed for you to spend money. And I know, it's that type of game. I know, I got it. But can we make it in such a way that at least slowly I could build this thing up? You know what I mean? Because right now, to get all of these 6 levels, I would need 6 more genes. That means 6 more 5 stars. And not just any 5 stars, exactly the ones that I have right now. I've been playing well over 100 hours now. I have 2 5 stars. And I'm on my way to 3rd one. And that's 100 hours. I don't even know how many hours I would have to play to get even Constellation 1, let alone Constellation 6. Sure, with 4 stars, it's a little bit more attainable, not exactly easy either. It's still way too difficult in my opinion. And I know it's designed to grab money for you, but that is a bit too outrageous. The 5-star ones especially, it just feels completely out of reach. I know that this game and a lot of games put a lot of things behind the paywall just for people to swipe their mom's credit card. I get that, but this system is designed for you to take a bank loan with your mom's card. It's not behind the paywall, it's behind the mortgage.
Some things are just more important than paying a mortgage.
It's awful, absolutely awful, and I truly hate this thing with passion. And now for the last thing, can you for the love of God just not put anything next to the doors? I swear the amount of times I hit something else but enter the door, it has to be absolutely disgusting. Just look at this. It's not even the first option. Right. Now that we got the bad things out of the way, and as you can see, this beauty wants to play with us, now we can start heading into the good things, into the positive stuff. And looking by this guy's little smile, we're gonna have plenty of them. But just before we get there, I just want to address something real quick. Everything that I said I hate, maybe for except of the Constellation, really is just nitpicks. If you expected me to say, oh, the game is pay to win and blah blah blah, well, of course it is. I just don't care about it. You know why? It's more or less a solo game. I'm not competing against anybody. I don't care how fast you progress. Doesn't impact me in any way. There is no PvP, or at least not that I'm aware of, and at least so far I was able to clear everything I did without any issues at all. I already spent well over 100 hours in this game, and at this point I could spend 70 bucks on this game and it would be as if I paid for any big game out there and got my money's worth. I mean, look at some of the big games out there. They're selling you their games for 70 bucks and yet they barely have 20 hours worth of story in them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm alright with being it the way it is. But the questing really needs to improve. Not joking about that one, there needs to be some improvement. It gives me anxiety at sometimes, I swear to God. Now then, I know that by this point you already are mad and boiling with rage at my comments about everything I hate. So why don't you just smash that subscribe button and that like button and leave a positive and thoughtful comment to relieve your boiling rage. That being said though, now let's move into the good stuff. And the first one being the world. The world. I absolutely love it. It is vast, it is gorgeous, it is beautiful, it is full with life. It is absolutely filled with unique and interesting locations that are absolutely gorgeous to look at. And although in my journey I still have a lot of places to visit, many continents and lands to explore, and vast amount of map yet still to be unlocked, but a little part of that I got to explore was absolutely breathtaking and an absolute joy to my heart to experience it. It was truly awesome. From the vast grass fields of Mondstadt, to the snowy peaks of Dragonspine, to the countryside of Liyue, and Sakura-filled towns of Inazuma, this game truly has it all. And who knows what else awaits us over the horizon? This game is an adventure, and I'm just a story in it. And now let's move to a second thing that I love about this game. That would be, my friends, the questing. And I know, it's ironic, I just completely bashed and mashed the questing in the bad section, and now we're gonna talk about it in the good section? What? Hey, like I said, for every bad quest, there are 4 or 5 good ones. And maybe not this one in particular, because it's on autoplay, but yet I'm still have to sit and look at this picture for I don't know how long. Let's just skip it. Because for every stupid quest, there are quests like this, where you fight an ancient gods, look for long lost treasures, get to know characters, their stories, their backstories, quests where you try to achieve and strive beyond your limits, to help and save the people around you, and everything in between. Although the questing has more than fair share of its problems, it can also be absolutely and truly amazing at times. It really has the both sides of the coin. And so that is why the questing for me is both on the good list and on the naughty list as well. It is truly a double-edged sword. That being said, let's now move to the next thing. Please just let me leave this quest. I don't care about it, just let me leave. It's not even voiced. And the next thing on our list is the game quality. The game truly feels well polished. There are no stupid bugs, no random issues, no quality control issues. Everything just works just like it's supposed to. And it works all the time flawlessly. And the overall feeling of how everything looks and feels is just that notch above any of its competition. The animations are gorgeous, the visual aspect of the game is amazing, and there is no that, how do I say it, cheapness, you know, the cheap feeling to it, you know what I mean? There's none of that. And that brings me to the next thing, the amount of things to do. There are truly endless amounts of things to do. I always feel just before logging out, there's this one more thing that I'm gonna do, and I always end up playing a few more hours. There's always a thing to upgrade, a quest to complete, or a continent to explore. I don't remember the last time I was lost and what could I do. There's always something to strive for, although in the very beginning there might be a little lack of content, or at least the explanation of it anyways. That was one of the reasons why I quit it the first time, but as soon as you make your way out of Mondstadt, everything just becomes an endless journey, and you go into this vast and unknown world, and then some. You know, I heard that people say, well, this game actually truly doesn't really have any kind of endgame, you know? And although I don't really know how much of it is true because, well, I haven't got there yet. But before you're gonna get there, there's a whole mountain of journey ahead of you. The freaking Everest of content is ahead of you before you're gonna get there. So you know what? I'm sure you're gonna be just fine. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find things to do before you're gonna get to the point where you don't. And if you are at the point where you don't know what to do anymore, well, yeah, I can't really recommend much. I'm not there yet. So sorry. Let's move to the next thing. That would be the events. And although this time in particular I cannot participate in it because I need 14 quests before I can do it, but usually that's not the case. I love how every time I play there's some sort of an event going on, some sort of extra rewards. The events themselves are vastly different. There's always something new and interesting to complete. Sometimes it misses, sometimes it hits, but hey, at least there always is something to do and something to participate in. And the extra rewards along the way don't really hurt either, all I'm saying. And that, my friends, bring me to our next thing, the understandability of the game. And although the game itself can be rather complex at times, if you start going pretty deep in how everything works, what kind of multiplier abilities, reactions, and so on and so forth goes on, sure, it can get very complex, very deep and very complex. But the core itself, the core of the game, it eases you into the game without having a huge rush and without completely overwhelming you. If you don't know what you're doing, no problem, you can still play it, starting off slowly, starting to understand simple reactions and stuff like that. Good, because the game slowly starts to build up the difficulty. You're starting to really dig down deep into how everything works, the game mechanics, the multipliers, the reactions, and so on and so forth. Good, because now the game truly starts to ramp up. But at this point, you already probably are so far into the game that you will want to go out of your way to understand everything the game has to offer, to explore and seek more information on your own pace, rather than the game shoving everything onto you to day one and saying deal with it how you want or don't play it. The slow build up into the game and being able to grasp most of the things myself without YouTube tutorials is truly a good thing, although of course eventually the tutorials don't really hurt either. And that brings me to the next thing, which is the vast selection of characters. Now I only have this many characters, but even that is a bit much for me. Just look at how many of them are not even leveled up. Yeah, I don't have enough resources right now, but I have such a variety of characters, so many possibilities of play different kinds of teams that I will never truly get bored with just playing the same repetitive thing. It always gonna be fun, different, new, and enjoyable to play. And every character is unique in their own unique ways. And I can appreciate that. And now, my friends, we come to the last point on this list. And that would be you. Yes, you, the community. I know, hang in there, I know. There are some shady parts of this game. I know, and I know that, I'm aware of it. But we're not gonna focus on that. That's not the side of the game we're gonna focus. In my time in this game, the amount of good people who watched my videos, followed my journey, helped with all the little things I missed along the way, and guided me to make sure I won't mess up, the way they did nothing but spread love and positivity is truly inspiring. Anybody that I had any kind of contact regarding Genshin, wasn't in the game, wasn't on the videos, doesn't matter, it was nothing but helpful, thoughtful, positive all the way through. Now, honestly, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on, but I think I got the main things that I like in this game and a few nitpicks here and there that I don't. Now let's summarize the whole thing and let me give you my final thoughts on Genshin so far. Now that I'm about 100 hours into this game, now that my adventurer rank is 40, got a little bit experience behind my belt, let me give you my final thoughts right now. Everything I said can and will probably change as I go through my journey, But at least for now, this is the only game I've been playing for the past month, minus one video I made on Tower of Fantasy. I played pretty much nothing else. I truly enjoyed my time in it. I loved every second of this game. Well, you know, for exception of few quests that gave me anxiety just thinking about them, but thankfully that's a minority, not a majority. But aside from that, it was truly a grand adventure across the continents of Genshin. An adventure that yet has ways to go before it concludes. But that's a good thing. That means we have so much more to go, so much more to achieve, and so many more places to visit and explore that it brings me joy to my heart just to know that our journey has just begun. And if you, my friend, want to follow my journey, you can check out this video or any other Genshin video on my channel. But aside from that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you stopping by. But for now, adventurer, I have to say bye. But not for long though, as I'm sure we're gonna meet somewhere out there in the wonderful world of Genshin Impact. Take care, my friends.